Hey, what's up everybody? This is Chicken Possible back with another Xbox Game Pass quest guide. Today we're going to be working on a weekly quest for the game Blob, and this is good through the 25th, next Tuesday, 50 rewards points, and we're going to have to rescue 60 what they call Raydians. If you can see in the background of this image, there's some little guys that were back there that were sort of lit up, colorful little guys. I'll show them to you again in a minute, but basically those are the guys that we've got to rescue. It's a very cool game, The Blob. I've actually had this installed for quite a while and played it with my family. It's got a really good couch co-op to it, so I think you'll enjoy it. So we'll go ahead and press A to get started and start up in the story mode again by pressing A. And I'd recommend going to the Last Resort map on the left. It's a good map, and over to the far left and using Last Resort. It's the one with the green sort of whirlwind looking thing on it. As far as choosing Blob's mood, you can choose whatever, that doesn't really matter. It's just going to affect the music and his sort of design a little bit. Alright, so you just press A to get started on that screen, and then you'll appear on this map here. And you can press A to cycle through most of the dialogue that happens. Sometimes you'll have to press the view button to skip through some of the dialogue and the prompts. Now, if you hold down the left trigger and target one of these little walking paint cans, you can pick up some paint, and that will change the Blob so that he has some color inside of him. And basically, you want to move around and touch these buildings. You can touch other things as well to add color to them, but basically the buildings are the most important thing that we're going to focus on. And especially these little blocks of buildings, like you saw me hit every building in the block over on the left side of the screen. And these guys that just popped up out of the ground are the Raydians. Those are the guys that we want to rescue. However, I don't think that first group actually counts because they're already colored when they appear. We're looking to rescue gray Raydians and change them to have color on them. So you move across the bridge here, you may want to pick up some more paint, but try to just kind of jump around pressing A, and you don't have to do anything to paint the buildings, you just basically have to bump into them, and then you'll see that message at the top that the Graydians have been liberated. Go over and make sure you bump into all of the little Graydians. There are usually about 8 per building block. And then sometimes the blocks are separated like this, where they're sets of 2 buildings. So make sure you touch all of those in the block, and then you should get the message again that the Graydians have been liberated, and you can bump into all of them to add paint. And whenever you need to add more paint, you can bump into these walking paint cans and pick up some more. And we should need about 8 sets of buildings, if I'm doing my math correctly there, to get enough Graydians to pass 60. That would get us 64 of them if 8 came out every time. Now, some of these blocks, you can see that they have higher buildings that are attached to them, so you may need to jump off of a ramp to get up to the higher level. And I've run out of paint again, so I'm just going to run over, find a paint can, and slam into that. You can also just crash into them and pick up their paint that way. And it doesn't matter what color the buildings get painted, you can use any color you like, whatever's convenient. Now, when you see that little globe thing pop up, that basically means that you're done with that section of the level and you can progress on if you want to. However, I would recommend hanging out in this section for as long as you can and getting as many of the Raydians colored as you possibly can, because these sets of buildings are really convenient. They're lower than most of the rest of them. You'll see me come up to in a couple minutes. And easier to sort of bump into and jump onto. So I did some experiments here as well. You saw me sort of skip the Raydians there to see if that counted. I wasn't sure if you actually needed to bump into them to color them to get credit for this quest, and it seems like you do. So I would definitely recommend every time that the Raydians come out of the buildings that you've colored, then you'll want to color them as well. You want to put the paint on them as well to make sure you get credit for them. Like I said, this section, if you move on past that gate, this section is kind of difficult because you have to jump up high to get some of the buildings colored, and you have to jump sort of across gaps to get the buildings painted to paint the entire block. So, so you'll see me in just a minute here. We're basically just going to restart so that we can go back and repaint those earlier building blocks that we've already painted that we had a lot easier time with. So I definitely recommend doing that, restarting once you've gone through that first set of buildings. So basically you just press your start button, go down to restart, and then choose yes. That'll take you back to the very beginning of this level. And again, you don't get credit for that the very first set of buildings that you run through, because the Raydians, when they pop out of there, they already have the paint on them. They're already colored. So you'll want to move on past the broken bridge and work on that sort of second set of buildings. And I'm guessing you can probably get through this in about 10 minutes or so. And if you ever want to hop out to the Game Pass app to see how many you've got, you can always do that, and it will show you your progress so far. So we've got 32 at the moment out of 60. So I'm just going to fast forward a little bit here and show you me going back through really quickly and picking up the rest of the Raydians that I needed to get up to 60. Okay, so at this point we've changed enough of the Graydians into Raydians, and yeah, we've got all of our 60, and here's our 50 rewards points. So we've turned that quest in, and we're good to go. I've got a quest guide out already for the super simple Streets of Rogue quest. I'm also going to have one coming out for the Earn 3 achievements for the Microsoft Rewards weekly set. Thanks for watching, guys. If you found that video helpful, please be sure to click the subscribe button on YouTube and hit that bell for notifications. You can also find links in the description for other social media links of mine. Stay tuned for more Microsoft Rewards and achievement guides, and I'll see you in the next one.